Hey guys, what's up? Eric here, and this is the first episode of Performance Marketer in the year 2020 of a new decade that's starting. And I'm pretty excited about today's episode because we're going to kick it off with one of the marketing secrets that I learned in the last 10 years that I feel is pretty important that you should know. One of the biggest marketing secrets I discovered over the last 10 years is how to convert cold leads into customers. And I do this by using surveys. Yep, I ask you what you want and I give it to you. Surveys provide information about the customer and it allows me to segment and target relevant messages to these people. And by doing so, I get a much higher response rate and a much higher return on my investment. Now, this is what I've learned. One of the biggest mistakes marketers make is they think they need to customize their core product offering to different target markets, when all you really need to do is customize the message and position your core product differently, based on all of the objections each of those target markets have. And you never change your core offer. The mistake is you do not change your core offer. You just change the messaging to make it seem as if you're customizing the product. You tailor the messaging, you never change the core offer. So here's how you would do it. You start by surveying your audience, asking the right questions that allow your audience to self-declare their skill sets, and they tell you what their objections are, what their fears are, and the insecurities about your vehicle, your product, your service. Based on the results of that survey, you're going to split your market into smaller groups of people who have similar needs and identifiable characteristics. You then target each of those groups with a custom, tailored marketing message. You're positioning your offer differently for each of the segments. This makes the person feel as if you're customizing it just for them. You speak to them in a way that you can relate. However, you're not changing your core offer. And when I do this, my effective CPMs skyrocket. I spend less money because I'm marketing to less people, and I make a much higher return rate. Not to mention that the response rates are off the hook because it's relevant. I know the objection that each of those groups have, and I solve that objection with the messaging and the stories that I'm going to tell to this different target market to position the product in different ways. Now, a good example of this is Nike. You can go to Nike's website today and you'll see they sell clothes and they sell shoes. But they sell to all different groups or segments broken out into men, women, kids, etc. However, Nike, as large of a company as they are, they even niche down more. I'll give you an example with shoes they make, the Jordans. They have many different brands that they promote through Nike. Jordan is one of them, Michael Jordan. He's still living and he'll live on forever, and it's unbelievable what they've done. Now, he creates all these different sneakers, and he has this one sneaker called Jordan React Havoc. And it's a running shoe. In this Jordan React Havoc, they have 6 different options, different colors that you can choose from. Looks like a cool shoe, right? However, this is the cool part. They also make the Jordan React Havoc sneakers for a few colleges. They have one for Florida and they have one for Oklahoma that I found. Now, this sneaker looks exactly the same as the other one. They just customize it with the colors of Florida, the logo of Florida. For the Oklahoma one, they have the Oklahoma logo and the Oklahoma colors. Guys, it's the same exact product. They're Jordan React Havocs, but they're positioning the product very different in a way that they can target to different segments, different messaging, and they actually charge differently for each sneaker. It's the same product. I'll give you another example with Nike. They recently got into a new niche where they specialize sneakers for nurses and doctors. They went down to Portland, Oregon. They worked and surveyed a bunch of medical workers, and they got a lot of feedback on the issues that these medical workers have with these rubber clogs. So what Nike did was they took all of the feedback that they got, and what they did is they then customized this so that they can now solve those solutions for these doctors, for these nurses. So some of the examples are they made this slip-on shoe that has no laces. It's durable, it's comfortable. I believe there's rubber on the outside where you can clean it, because these people are up running around all day long on their feet. And from what I understand, with the few questions I asked from people I know with in the nursing industry, they can't even get their hands on these sneakers. They're sold out. So all of a sudden, Nike, they sell sneakers. It's the same sneaker, but they're niching down. The messaging is very, very different. At the end of the day, the core offer, it's still a Nike sneaker. So I think it's important for you guys to understand that, okay? When you're out in the marketplace, you want to try to create different groups and niche down as much as you can. I'll tell you a really cool way you can do this. Go to Google and type in whatever industry you're in, and then look at what Google shows when you do this. So if you go in and say fishing for, right? And I'm going to do it right now. Fishing for blackfish, fishing for striped bass, fishing for beginners, fishing for catfish. Photography for beginners, photography for dummies, photography for kids, photography for sale, photography for real estate, photography for weddings, and photography for teens. So Google just gave me multiple market segments by me just typing in 2 words. And it shows some of the highest searchable terms in that industry. Okay? There's ways to do this. Now, I did a survey for one of my partners a while back, hotels.com. And when I was in Russell's Inner Circle meeting earlier this year, I showed it to the group. I walked them through it. I showed them how I did it. People loved it. And he said something to me. He suggested I find a way to bridge the gap between what I do with surveys and converting cold leads for people in his tribe. Because from what I understand, a lot of people are great with people that are warm and they know who you are and they're consuming your content. But when you want to step outside that circle to generate a cold lead, it's a lot harder. But when you can crack that code, you can scale your business dramatically. And the way to do that is through surveys. So when I went home, I started to think about it. I spoke with a bunch of guys on my team, and I made a decision that I'm going to build my very own survey platform. We've been building this platform for the last 4 months or so. And we've gotten it to a point now where it's in its MVP mode. MVP stands for most viable product. And typically when you're building software, what you want to do is you want to create a product where the functionality is there enough that you can prove out the concept. And then when you prove out the concept and it's working, then you start to add all the bells and whistles and do all the other stuff, right? So we're at the point where the functionality is there and we're using it. And it's pretty cool. So recently I just came up with a bunch of different names. And what I did was I posted a survey on my Facebook account, on some of the groups I'm in, some of the pages, just to get some feedback on who likes certain names. And I had a bunch of different names that I found. I like the .io because of a lot of tech software platforms use it. IO in the tech world is input, output. So I found a bunch of cool names that I personally liked. Survey Rewards, Survey Panel, Survey Detective, and a few others. So when I asked everybody what they thought and what they wanted, some people just answered, other people asked me what it was all about. And I'm pleased to announce that the winning name is Survey Detective. So now I have a platform that is called Survey Detective, that ultimately you act as a detective with your audience to understand them, to understand what they want, and then you give it to them. Now, we built this platform to make it super simple for anyone, even if you don't have tech skills, to literally create your own surveys in less than 15 minutes. We're creating templates and a process that I just described to you earlier, where you're using these surveys, a market survey for the research, then a survey for you to segment your data, allowing you to now create a follow-up marketing message where you're targeting these different markets and you're positioning your brands to take them from being a cold customer all the way into becoming your customer buying your products, right? So these cold leads who'd never heard of you are now turning into your customers. It's pretty powerful. And another functionality that I'm adding is giving people the ability to have their own rewards program. So Survey Detective has its own rewards program for each client. And the concept there is that when you are creating these surveys, you have the ability to create a loyalty rewards program with anybody that's coming through your surveys, and you can reward them points. And then same as you accumulating miles for an airline or getting points for one of your credit cards, you'll then have the ability to customize your rewards for your users however you want. And your users then can come and redeem their points for some perceived value. It could be a gift card, or it could be your course, or it could be your products, where you're giving percentages off for them being loyal to you and consuming your content. By you getting them to want to get points, they will continue to be giving you more and more information and opinions about your product and services that allow you to understand your customer and grow your business. So right now we're being tested with some of my partners, some friends, and we've been giving it to some students who are taking my challenge. If you're interested, you can go and check it out. It's surveydetective.io. If you go there, you can request an invite to be one of my testers on the platform. If you're selected, we'll notify you and we'll reach out and get in contact with you in some way. But at the same time, we'll also keep you abreast of any of the releases that we have on the product. And we plan to launch this in the second quarter of this year, is the hopes. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to document the process as we build this, as we collaborate internally. Today I had a meeting for over 4 hours with my team, and it was a really good meeting. And it's really, I could talk about this for hours. It gets very, very exciting. But at the end of the day, it's an amazing, amazing platform that will ultimately allow you to take a cold lead and turn them into a customer, something that a lot of people haven't been able to do. So look out for this. It's going to be killer. So I hope I served you in some way today. I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys got some value out of understanding how to ask your tribe what they want, to ask them their opinions, and then to divide them into these different segments, allowing you to target differently, customizing it in a way that they feel special. And you position your brand in a way that now answers all of their objections, and it's a win-win. But at the end of the day, don't forget, you do not change your core offer. You change the messaging. You customize the messaging. You don't create a completely new business. So I hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions, reach out. If you guys want to give me a review, I'd appreciate that. That goes a long way. If anybody's out there and wants me to come on their podcast, just reach out to my team. Happy to do so. I love getting feedback from you people. So I appreciate everybody that's listening here. And I hope you guys take what I just gave you and turn that into some gold. Good luck. And I'll speak to you guys soon. All right. Bye-bye.